Hi, I'm B, and I read Dating and Dragons by Kristy Boyce. I'm not gonna lie, this isn't a book I normally would have picked up myself on my own. So, why did I? The answer is quite simple. My girlfriend saw it on one of our outings where we go book shopping, and she was like, I want to read it. And I was kind of like, I might as well pick it up myself and read it since it's already in her collection. And I'm surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised with this book. I'm going to start off with like a little summary of the book before like getting into what this book is about, like on a deep level, like literally describing this whole book in this video. The plot follows Quinn, the new girl at school, and Logan, the cute boy who she meets on her first day. Quinn moved schools after her ex-friend group kind of blew up, and it started to have a toll on her mental health. Her grandmother's declining health also gave Quinn's parents more of a reason to just pick up and move. It's there where she meets Logan and his friend group / the D&D group. And we follow this group of people as Logan and Quinn struggle to push aside their growing feelings for one another as to not break one of the group's rules, which is that the players are not allowed to date each other in the group. I will now be getting into like the actual story, which will include spoilers. This whole book will be spoiled. If you're only interested in my overall opinion of the book, I will put a timestamp somewhere on screen of where you can go if you're just interested in that part. So Quinn and Logan's like story is definitely a meet cute gone wrong type scenario. In fact, they meet because of Quinn's grandmother, who takes her and her brother Andrew to their first day of school. Their grandma Barbara is actually actively driving through the parking lot looking for someone to take a group picture for their first day of the new school, where she then sees Logan's group of friends, and Grandma Barbara kind of just comes up and is like, hey, take a picture of us, please. And the group of kids are very confused. But Logan does agree to take a couple of pictures before asking if he would be seeing Quinn in his first period, which he would not be, unfortunately. Logan and Quinn do actually speak to each other a handful of times before and in between like class periods before she gets introduced or invited to the D&D group by Kashvi. And all of their conversations up until this point is pretty pleasant as well. Like they exchange pleasantries. They're always very kind and nice to each other. And you definitely get the vibe that the initial attraction to one another is mutual and it's there. Which is why the 180 Logan has towards her is a little bit shocking. I'm gonna have to backtrack just a little bit to explain what I mean by that. Kashvi, the only other girl besides Quinn in the group, initially invites her with the warning of, we are a pretty intense group. Most don't last with us. Which is a bit of a red flag, but it's later shown that the most intensity that they get as a group is the fact that they do character voices and really get into like the role playing of D&D, which can be like intense for new players of the games. However, Quinn does have experience with it. It's really funny though, because not only are they saying that they are a really intense group, they're also kind of like, we aren't like regular D&D groups. We live stream. Which, I fear that's a common thing these days. People live stream their D&D groups, which it's valid. It's fun. It's valid and fun. It's just funny. Because this is kind of like how it goes down. Everyone files in around me and sits down at their respective chairs at the table. What's with all the tech? I ask. In my old group, there was an unwritten rule that we wouldn't be on our tablets or phones during the session unless we were looking something up. It kind of kills the mood of role-playing when half the members are too busy on Reddit to pay attention to what's happening in the game. But I've never seen anything like this setup. Logan shoots Kashfi a surprised look. You didn't tell her? Didn't tell me what? I didn't want to scare her, she replies to him before turning to me. We aren't a usual D&D group. We actually live stream all of our sessions. Like Critical Role? They all smile and nod. We are not quite as popular as them yet, but yeah, Mark replies. They're one of our idols. Some days we'll get views like they do. That part really did make me giggle. It really did, because we're not like other D&D groups. They're a group of high schoolers. They're a group of high schoolers. I'm gonna give them lax on this. When Quinn arrives, the whole gang, Kashfi, Savjin, Salone, Mark, and Logan, they're all pretty welcoming towards her and showing her about how they go about their sessions and their live streams. And they let her watch from the sidelines their last campaign session to get a feel for it and like how they run as a group. And afterwards, she is offered to join them. At this point, Logan, who has been pretty friendly with Quinn, flips a switch. So, she raises an eyebrow. Do you think you're up to joining? Wait, Logan interrupts, his eyes flashing at me. You're thinking about joining the group? Why did you think I had her come in today? Kashfi asked incredulously. My stomach sinks at the change in Logan's expression. It's as if Kashfi announced I'll be swinging by every Saturday to pour a bucket of manure on the game table. I don't know, he replies. I thought maybe you were hanging out after or something. You play D&D? Yes, I play, I reply sharply. Just, not like this. You get used to it, Mark says, and takes a huge gulp of Dr. Pepper directly from the 2-liter. The cameras are intimidating at first, and you overanalyze every word you say, but eventually you forget that everyone is watching you, and it's just fun. I bet you'd love it. You should consider joining. It'd be great to have another player, Sloane adds. I know, I might have given you a hard time before. Sanjeev glances at his sister, but it'd be cool to have you. It's good to switch things up, so we don't fall into a rut. And I know it'd make Kashfi happy. Logan's eyes narrow at Sanjeev, but his silence is all I need to realize that Logan does not want me here as a player. Seriously? He was so nice before. What's so horrible about me playing with the group? Am I not good enough for them? He doesn't know me well enough to guess what kind of player I am. I cock my head at him. What do you think, Logan? His eyes widen, like he didn't expect me to call him out. You should do what you want to do. But what do you think I should do? I'd like to hear your opinion. He clears his throat. I'm glad to see I can make him squirm. Do you think I can cut it? Or are you hesitating because you don't want another girl in the campaign? I push. His mouth drops open. What? No, it's not like that at all. I don't care about that. Rather than standing up for Logan, everyone waits in silence, and I feel both vindicated and slightly nauseous. So it's not in my head. He really doesn't want me to join. It's just, he looks around again. I'm not sure if you'd be a good fit. We're high energy when we play, and you seem kind of quiet and easily intimidated. We need personalities more like your grandma, actually. Take no prisoners. I smirk. That'd be your funeral. She'd roleplay you all under the table. And here we start to see how they go back and forth with each other on, like, when Logan starts to be not like, he's not being friendly anymore. He does get a little cold towards Quinn, and Quinn notices. And so she pushes him back as well. They go back and forth quite a bit. And when it comes to session 0, where they start working on character creation for their next session, the two of them go back and forth even more. Have you got anything, Quinn? Salone asked me. Their voice is soft, like they're scared to pressure me. Maybe. I flip another page in the player's handbook. I'm still thinking. Do you know how to build a character? Logan asks. My head snaps up. Yes, I know how to build a character. This isn't my first time. Okay, fine, but it's your first time playing with us. If you're going to be part of the group, then your character needs to work with the party. We need a balanced group of... I turn to Kashfi. Is he always like this? You get used to it. Doubtful. Like what? He asked, looking to the others. This classic mansplaining you're doing. You think I don't know how characters work? Or parties? I don't need everything explained to me. I think you need a few things explained to you, he mutters, and I want to flick him with my dice. He puts his hands out. I was only trying to help, but please, go ahead. If we allow you to join our group, what are you planning to bring to the table? I smirk. You want a balanced party? Okay, how about a ranger? I put my chin on my fist and wait for the response I know I'll get. He lets out an expirated sigh like I just predicted. Do you know how redundant that would be when we already have 2 fighters and a rogue? What if we come across an enemy we can't swing a sword at? Why do you think I suggested it? I ask with a raised eyebrow. Kajvi lets out a snort laugh. Salone interrupts to ask Mark about his character, and it gives me a few minutes to decide in peace. An idea comes to me, and I jot some notes down so I don't forget anything. When there's a lull in the conversation, I jump in. I want to be a hill dwarf sorcerer. Sanjeev and Kashvi glance at each other and nod. Sounds good to me, Kashvi says. We need a magic user. Sorcerers don't have a lot of hit points, Logan adds. I pin him with a glare. Exactly, which is why I'm building mine to have dwarven toughness, a bonus to constitution for a hit point bonus, plus a 3rd hit point bonus as a sorcerer. I know I should look around the rest of the table to gauge their feelings about these choices, but I can't pull my attention from Logan. He's being so infuriatingly obnoxious that all I can think about is shutting him up. When he hears my character build, his expression changes from skeptical to surprised to impressed. The shift as obvious as it is intoxicating. I'm stacking to get as many hit points as possible so I can save the rest of the party later when the others can't. I lean back and cross my arms. Or are you going to tell me that this build won't be a help to the rest of the party? Because if that's so, we'll all know you're just arguing because you don't want me here. He stares me down, but then the corner of his mouth lifts slightly, like he's fighting not to smile. And the build has one more bonus now that I know you're playing an elf, I continue. Being a dwarf will give me an excuse to fight with you since our races don't naturally get along. You want to fight with me? No, but it seems like you want to fight with me. This way the viewers will have some reasoning behind why we treat each other this way. I raise an eyebrow at him. Though my heart is racing, I can't believe I'm being so combative when I'm simultaneously so desperate to be included in this group. But what the hell is his problem? If he's going to try to put me in my place, I have no issue doing the same to him. I don't think being polite is going to get me far with this group. He drops his gaze to the table and messes with the dice in front of him. You know, group dynamics are important to us. Very important. If you can't be a team player, then you shouldn't be here. Sloane snorts. What are you talking about? We fight all the time. That's half the reasoning why people watch us, so they can hear you all bickering about stupid things. And I get the point that, like, Logan is very dismissive of Quinn in this scene and, like, her character build and creation and just overall the whole... Do you know how to build a character? I would have crashed out, I think. I think if I was in Quinn's situation, I would have absolutely crashed out. Because I feel like the easiest part of D&D is the character creation, but whatever. But as Quinn is challenging him in this moment, you kind of start to wonder if he is enjoying it. Like, enjoying that, like, combative nature, the back and forth in their conversations. After that conversation with the character building, Logan brings up that there are rules to their campaign, their group. The first one is that they don't set up game sessions, ever. The second rule is that there's no messing around during the live streams. Like, stay in character, don't get on your phone. If you're gonna talk out of character, you know, it has to be related to the campaign, more so than anything. The third rule, as mentioned earlier, is that the players are not allowed to date each other within the group. And the reasoning behind this, as Salone says, is that too many groups break up and get messy because, like, some of the players, like, date each other, and then when they break up, things get awkward and weird. And it gets hard to, like, work through that. Throughout their discussion, though, you do kind of get the vibe that Logan is more so trying to remind himself of the rules, especially the no dating rule. And in reality, that is exactly what is happening. Quinn notes this herself, but doesn't want to get the wrong idea, so she just kind of like brushes off that. Maybe the reason why Logan has gotten cold towards her is, oh, maybe he wanted to date her and now he can't because of the D&D group. Now, I'm gonna be so for real and honest here. This book is very predictable, so we really do already know why Logan is being kind of cold. Which I also want to mention that at this point of the book, Quinn and Logan are so obnoxious. Like, they're really obnoxious in the, like, early chapters of the book. It is, however, quite, like, refreshing to see that both the main character and love interest are equally obnoxious. I feel like sometimes in a lot of, like, YA novels, typically only one of them is completely and utterly annoying, and it's usually the femc. It's usually the female lead who is the obnoxious one. So it's just great to see that both parties are equally annoying at first. Another thing that I've been enjoying is the fact that we get to see the friendship dynamic. Quinn speaks to Salone before class about their crocheting and mentions liking the hats that they may have made. We also get to see Salone responding to Quinn wanting a hat by bringing a bunch of them to one of their sessions so that everyone can have one. And Quinn also helping everyone pick out their hats. Like, it's cute to see, like, some of their friendship outside of the D&D like the D&D campaigns and sessions. Now, before their first session as, like, a live stream where they actually sit down and play the game, Quinn's parents do inform her and Andrew, which, if you forgot, which I would have, is Quinn's younger brother. But they inform her that their grandmother had fallen and that they're trying to move her to a retirement facility, because while she is all right from this fall, it doesn't mean that she will always be this lucky. And I want to say Grandma Barbara is, like, in her mid to late 70s. Also, before their session, Logan is still being cold towards Quinn, but is also now mixed with a awkwardness as he tries to converse with her. I climb out and wave as they drive away. Logan walks towards me on the sidewalk, but does nothing to acknowledge me other than bob his head in my direction. So he's sticking with the cold demeanor. Maybe I shouldn't let him get to me, but it irritates me that he switched to acting so unfriendly and aloof. How are we supposed to be a real group if he won't acknowledge my presence? And wasn't he the one who said that group dynamics were so important? Hey, I say defiantly. He stops and turns his focus entirely on me. It's warmer today than the typical gray February day in Ohio. And rather than wearing a coat, Logan is wearing a blue flannel shirt over a t-shirt. The shirt is snug and does nothing to hide the definition in his arms and shoulders. His brown hair looks lighter in the sun, and it swoops just slightly over his left eye in a way that is almost begging for me to reach out and brush it up onto his forehead. Basically, Logan is too hot for his own good, or mine, and I should have just let him ignore me. How are you, Quinn? He says softly. His gaze pins me in a place like I'm an insect he's just stuck to a board for a science project. I'm good. Fine. I glare at him so he can't guess the thoughts rolling around in my mind. Excited for this afternoon? I am. Good. So am I. We stand there another second, staring at each other with nothing to say before he turns away and marches through the front door. Now, on the following pages, Quinn does give more insight on her old friend group, but it's not quite enough to get the full picture before Salome pulls her from her thoughts with the hats mentioned earlier. I'm trying to stay in the moment, but being back at the game table makes it impossible to keep away memories of my own gaming group. I met Paige in Spanish freshman year, and we immediately became best friends. I'd never had a best friend before her. I had good friends. I'd been included in parties and group costumes for Halloween, but I'd never had someone I loved and trusted enough that I'd tell them everything. Paige knew every one of my insecurities, from the amount of freckles on my face to my sadness that Mom and Dad were always more excited about Andrew's interests than they were about mine. I knew the details of Paige's parents' divorce and the fact that she had gotten drunk with her cousins the summer before freshman year and told her parents it was food poisoning. We were inseparable, so when Caden asked Paige to play D&D, I joined too. To Paige and Caden and the others, D&D was social time. Caden was our gaming clown. He'd do anything to make us laugh, doing crazy dances, eating nasty food, even mooning us, though I was quick to close my eyes for that. I'd never laughed as much as I laughed at D&D. Caden was also a huge flirt and constantly found ways to compliment me. He said he loved my long hair, even when it was frizzy and unbrushed. He loved my jewelry and that I learned the D&D rules for my character and had opinions about the game. It was easy to be taken in by it. It was easy to flirt back because it felt like that was our pattern. He flirted, I flirted back, and we forgot about it as soon as we left the gaming table. I've told myself over and over again to stop thinking about them, to stop wondering how they could have turned on me and what they say about me now. Do they have regrets? Does Paige ever think of me when painting her nails or rewatching Stranger Things? My brain won't let the memories go, and they're painful. They're as painful as ever. Losing Paige, especially, is a wound I can't stop scratching long enough for it to heal. It is Sloane bringing up the fact that they brought the hats as they said they were that pulls Quinn away from these thoughts. And she does help the rest of the group pick what hats they're gonna choose, which is really cute. And she does pick one out for Logan, and Logan is very surprised when she kind of like just places it down in front of him and is like, here. But he accepts it. Her first session with the group is admittedly the most description we get when it comes to their sessions, as the others typically get like blown through. And I also want to like read out Quinn's description for her character. My name is Quinn Norton, and I'm playing Nasria, a Hildorf sorcerer. She loves her clan, but had to leave them when her magical abilities manifested, because she didn't understand where they were coming from or how to use them. She doesn't particularly like her magic because it feels unnatural. She's seeking answers to understand how she gained these powers, and in the meantime is hoping her magic can be used to help others. Side note about this, her character reminds me a lot of Lace Harding, specifically Lace Harding in Dragon Age Veilguard, not Dragon Age Inquisition, because in Veilguard, she does, like, kind of just wake up with magic one day, and it's like, ayo, this is strange, this is weird, but maybe I can use my magic to help others while I'm trying to figure out where they came from. This could also just be me hyperfixating on Dragon Age at the moment. Quinn does pretty well with handling the game being recorded, and Kashvi reassures her of this with a thumbs up. However, Logan has to go and spoil this a bit by having his character speak to hers, of course resulting in some bickering. His gaze meets mine. Nasria, the British accent Logan does as Adris, brings me back to myself. I know the sight of me can be distracting, and perhaps there's a way to remedy that later, but you might want to pay more attention. You're about to be attacked. My cheeks heat at the fact that he caught me staring, but I'm not letting him get the last word. Excuse me, Adris. I've never seen an elf slam his own face into a set of bars. It's hard to stop myself from reliving it. I tilt my head as if to bow to him, then turn my attention back to Sloane. Maybe Kashfi can be a new friend, but definitely not everyone sitting at this table. After 2 hours, the session ends, and Quinn needs a ride, and Logan is the only one who can take her back home. During this, Quinn does actually call out Logan for being cool at first and then seemingly suddenly having an issue with her. I'm just gonna read out what happens. And this is a good chunk of pages. I have him pull my bag closer to my chest. Why do you suddenly dislike me? He flinches and the truck slows momentarily as his foot comes off the accelerator. What? I don't dislike you. Well, you clearly don't like me playing D&D. You were cool when we first met, but now you can barely string 2 words together to answer a question. Do you think I'm ruining the game? He jerks his head in my direction. No! But you didn't want me to join. Don't try to deny it. Why? He shrugs and his fingers flex around the steering wheel. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. My pulse speeds and I can't stop my mind going back to the group's rule on dating. He hasn't confirmed that that's the reason, but he hasn't denied it either. I want to know, but the abject horror of asking him outright only to have him say no or laugh in disgust is enough to keep me silent for life. Anyway, knowing the answer won't change anything. I'm not quitting this game. For the first time in months, I have people I can call friends, and I won't jeopardize that. I swallow and try to calm my thoughts. It matters when we're playing in a cooperative game together, and when you're acting like the leader of the campaign. No matter what's up with that anyways. The others always turn to me. I don't ask for it, he glances at me. What, do you want to be the leader or something? No, that wasn't what I was saying at all. Though maybe I should since Adris couldn't even get us out of our cells. Nasria wouldn't be a good leader. You said she hates people. She hates elves. Well, isn't that convenient, he replies sarcastically. But Adris's charisma will win her over. Not if his charisma is anything like yours, he sniffs. Maybe he won't want to win her over if her personality is anything like yours. Then thank God I gave her that personality. I slouch in frustration. I was hoping to get him to warm up to me, and instead we're bickering even more. I peek over at Logan, expecting to find him glowering. Instead, he's amused. Is he enjoying this? I could swear he's fighting a smile, and wow, it's not fair the way it transforms his face or the emotions rolling inside of me. Did I say something funny? Most of what you say is funny. That sounds like a compliment, but since you're the one saying it, I'm going to assume it's not. This time he doesn't fight the smile that spreads over his face. No, it's a compliment. I flush and squeeze my bag even tighter. We drive through a few more streets in silence, and I force myself not to look at him. But he doesn't follow suit. His thumbs tap on the steering wheel as he drives, and he keeps glancing over at me. Finally, he clears his throat. I've been curious. Was there a reason your grandma stopped and asked us to take a photo? I frown. It's because she wanted a photo. Right, but what I mean is there were lots of people in that parking lot that morning. She could have asked anyone, but she asked us. I was just wondering if there was a reason. My eyes narrow at the possible implication of his question. Are you insinuating that I asked her to stop? It had occurred to me. Oh my God! I squeezed my eyes shut. That whole thing was completely her idea. I had nothing to do with it. The British GPS voice announces. Arrived. Logan pulls his truck in front of my house, puts it in park, and turns to me. Okay, fine. If that's what your answer is, then I believe you. But the casual skepticism in his tone picks at my nerves. You think I conceded some scheme just so I had an excuse to talk to you? Then you're the most egotistical person I've ever met. I reply in a tone that's more self-assured than I feel. My grandma is the one who spotted you because she was so desperate for a photo. I was too busy fangirling over Kashfi's D20 earrings to notice you. Rather than looking annoyed, he only leans back against the driver's side door and surveys me. Well, that's too bad, he replies, because I noticed you. After this call out, Quinn is more than a little flustered and quite literally stumbles out of the car. This is the beginning of a little inside joke where after like one of them stumbles, the other's like, what, an ear infection? We get another scene with Grandma Barbara, and this time it's her picking up Quinn from school to just get her out of the house. And instead of taking her straight home as planned, she takes her to a local ice cream shop. Coincidentally, of course, Logan works here. Grandma recognizes him from Quinn's first day and talks his manager into letting him having a break, even though he like just got there. However, no sooner than they sit down, Grandma sees her hairdresser and leaves them alone. Here, Quinn gets to know Logan a bit better, finding out that he has a campaign that he's been writing on his own and that his father, Chuck, comes out to help Grandma with her house on quite a few occurrences, actually. Now, Grandma Barbara is actively trying to hook Quinn and Logan up this entire book. And this is one of those moments. She tells Logan that she could use the help clearing out her attic and gets Quinn's help as well. Quinn, however, is recognizing that she is trying to set them up, and Grandma Barbara admits this. Come Wednesday, my usual pickleball game is canceled. Will do, he glances at me. I guess I'll see you then, Quinn. I guess so. I wait until he's behind the counter with his back turned before swiveling to face her. What are you doing? Why didn't you just invite him to your house? For you, of course. She takes a last bite of her sherbet, looking incredibly pleased with herself. This is really great sherbet. For me, I'm not looking for excuses to see Logan. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I glare at her. He seems like a nice boy, much better than those rude ones in the parking lot. And his best quality is that he likes you. I could tell the moment he saw you walk into the store. I don't want to date Logan. He's too unpredictable. One minute he seems to like me, the next he wants absolutely nothing to do with me. Not that I've thought about this idea seriously. Oh, no, of course not, she says, and readjusts her rose-covered silk scarf. If you don't like him, then fine. You can go through some boxes and that will be that. I just thought that having a date might be nice since you're at a new school and still getting to know people. I will say, there's something about him that reminds me of your grandfather. He was so nervous around me that he avoided me for 2 months before I cornered him in the hallway and asked him to the movies. Logan does, in fact, meet Quinn at her grandma's house, and he's wearing the crocheted hat that Quinn chose for him, which, cute little note. Grandma then leaves them with a suggestive comment. There must be antique shops or thrift shops that would buy some of it. Just sort through it and put aside anything that might be worth something. And you better behave yourself up there. Although, if you don't, no one will know since I can't climb that ladder. She raises her eyebrow in a suggestive way and my cheeks flush with heat. And during, like, the attic scene, they spend more time getting to know each other. And we do get a little bit more insight on why Logan's attitude towards Quinn was cold in D&D. He turns back to me with a smile. Another false alarm? You seem to keep having those around me. Speaking of, did you ever figure out the reason why you were so unsteady that day? The teasing shine in his eyes makes my heart thump. No, I did not, but I'm feeling perfectly steady right now, thank you. Luckily, he doesn't push the subject and we work a bit more in silence before he asks me how my day was. I grimace at the reminder. It's a work in progress, I reply. Turns out that switching schools in the middle of the year isn't easy. Never would have predicted that. He pulls another box in front of him. I'm sure it's hard leaving all of your old friends behind. A heavy weight presses on me at the reminder. I shake my head. Actually, that was probably the best thing about the move. Leaving your friends, he asks, incredulously. I think it's more accurate to describe them as ex-friends. Logan's kneeling on the ground, going through another box, but he swiveled towards me at the words. Were these the people you played D&D with? Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 loss. No more friends and no more gaming group. So I'm grateful to be in Laurelburg regardless of the issues. I expect him to ask for details about what happened or to look uneasy at the knowledge that my last D&D group disowned me. This is not the kind of thing that inspires confidence when you've added someone to your game, especially if you weren't happy about including them in the first place. But Logan only frowns in sympathy. It's horrible. I'm sure whatever happened, it was their fault. I laugh in surprise. It's very loyal of you to say, given that you barely know me. I know you. You like sugary foods and the color green and D&D. I push a box away. It's just old sheets. And look at the next one. You've summed me up. And you love your grandmother enough to spend your afternoon going through her unmentionables with a guy you don't particularly like because she asked you to. My eyes flick up to him. She clearly loves you too, he continues, which means you must be a pretty great person because I don't think she's impressed with just anyone. So yeah, if they couldn't keep you as a friend, then that says more about them than it says about you. I turn away from the boxes and study him. Really study him in a way that I haven't allowed myself to before. His expression is open without a hint of sarcasm or snark. He pushes his hair away from his forehead and leans forward just slightly, easily meeting my gaze. There's no challenge in his eyes, and it makes me want to tell him everything that happened with Caden, Paige, and the others. It'd be nice to tell someone the story without worrying about their judgment. But there's a lot more I need to understand about him before I'll trust him with that information. Logan, why did you come here today? I pull my knees up to my chest and rest my chin on them. And don't bring up Grandma. Why did you really come here? Because I can't figure you out. You were so nice when we met. Then I joined the game and you turned into a completely different person. That's because I didn't want you to join. His gaze turns so intense that it's like a tractor beam freezing me in place. He swallows in his Adam's apple bobs. I hoped you would change your mind, and when you didn't, I decided the only way forward was to be as cold and distant to you as possible. Why? I whisper. Because our group has rules. My pulse skitters. You don't keep your distance from Kashfi or anyone else in the group. I don't need to with them. He takes a slow breath and his gaze drops to my mouth. But I need to keep my distance from you. His words burn through my thoughts and scatter them like ashes in a campfire. It takes me a moment to reply. But you're here now. Yeah, he shrugs. I'm sorry for the way I acted. I know I shouldn't be here, but it gets hard following the rules all the time. I wanted to see you. Alone. My breath catches in my throat. Prior experience tells me this can only end badly. The last time I went on a date with someone from my D&D group, it blew up in my face so terribly that I'm still picking up the pieces. And that group didn't even have a rule against dating other players like this new one does. Nothing good can come from spending time alone with Logan, but that doesn't stop me from wanting to crawl over these dusty floors and press my lips to his, just to see how we'll both react. His face tilts slightly, and a piece of hair falls in his eyes. Maybe I'm not the only one thinking that. Grandma does unfortunately fall, which then catches Logan and Quinn's attention, so they head down from the attic to help her. She's thankfully okay, but we already know what this means for her. Yeah. Quinn's parents do talk about how she shouldn't be living by herself anymore, but is too stubborn for that quite yet. The subject there is, however, quickly changed to tease Quinn a bit about Logan, since when checking up on Grandma brought him up, like during that. It lightens the mood successfully, but leaves Quinn begging to leave for Kashfi's now. The girls, Quinn and Kashfi, have a slumber party, and it's here that we learn more about the no dating rule and how it came to be. Basically, Kashfi had invited a boyfriend to join the group, and things became messy and awkward when they broke up. This is followed by Quinn opening up to Kashfi about what happened with her old group in detail. Have you seen anyone at school you're interested in? To my horror, Logan immediately flashes into my mind. Dusty from the attic, grinning at me over a box of junk, saying he needs to keep his distance from me. I shove the thoughts into a tiny closet in the back of my mind and lock the door. I barely know anyone at school yet, and my last experience with dating was less than fun, so I'm not eager to jump back into that. She leans forward with her elbows on her knees. Pizza forgotten at her side. Oh, what happened? In another context, I might worry she was just looking for juicy gossip, but she seems genuinely interested. And it's only fair that I share since she told me about Wyatt. More dating and D&D drama. I shake my head and mess with the shag rug rather than look at her. Our group had played together for over a year, and it was so fun. The campaign wasn't like ours at all. It was way less serious. For the others, it was sometimes more about talking and eating and flirting rather than playing. I glance up quickly and Kashfi nods but doesn't say anything. Caden was the DM. And he was funny and kind of cute. And after a while, he started flirting with me during the games. It seemed harmless. I didn't think anything of it. I'm mildly nauseous recounting this time after having tried to push away thoughts of them for so long, but I'm too far into the story to bail now. It's almost harder remembering the fun times than it is to remember the fallout at the end. If I think about how horribly they turned on me, it's easy to feel grateful we weren't talking any longer. But remembering the better times reminded me of how much I lost. I'm guessing it wasn't harmless, Kashfi asked. The interest in her expression has turned to worry. Kaden asked me out and I said yes, because he was a friend, and I thought maybe there could have been something more between us. I've never had a real boyfriend before. It was all exciting at first. I squirmed. But as soon as he and I were alone, I knew it wasn't going to work. We were the kind of people who worked better in a big group. When it was just the two of us, there wasn't much to say, and everything felt forced and awkward. And the kiss, I shiver. He was not a good kisser. Let's just say we were meant to stay platonic. Kashfi's hands flies to her face to cover her pained laughter. I can imagine that a revelation didn't lead to anything good. Oh my god, it was horrible. When I told him I thought we were better as friends, he was shocked. I guess we walked away from that first date with really different impressions of how it went. Then he accused me of being a tease. I didn't mean to do any of that. But he was so pissed, and he turned the whole group against me, especially my best friend, Paige. Kashfi runs a hand through her hair, letting the curls fall every place, and looks at me with sympathy. That's so messed up, Quinn. I'm sorry. Thanks. I guess we've both been through it, huh? Wasn't a big loss in terms of Kaden. He showed his true colors, and I was glad to be done with him. Even losing the D&D group wasn't the worst part of it. It was losing Paige. I have to take a second to swallow and make sure I'm not in danger of crying. The way she turned her back on me without a second thought, I'm not sure it'll ever hurt less. I thought we were so close, but we weren't. She liked Kaden, didn't she? I laugh in surprise. Wow, it took me way longer than you to figure that out. It turns out she was already secretly jealous that he was interested in me instead of her. But then for me to reject him, it was like I was rejecting her too. I blow out a breath. She might have taken it harder than he did. She decided he was the innocent boy with the broken heart of gold, and I was the devil incarnate. It all worked out for her since she got him in the end. I guess nothing brings two people together like mutual hatred. Before their next session, Quinn, Kashfi, Salone, and Sanjeev make dice jewelry together, and they talk about selling some of it to get a bit of pocket cash. It's a cute bonding moment. Like, I love the little bonding moments we get of, like, the groups. After the session, we do get a bit of a moment between Logan and Quinn where Logan offers to go home so that Quinn can continue to hang out with the group. I noticed Logan hovering in the hall by the front door. I need to leave him alone, but that's harder than it should be. So your dad is making you work this afternoon? He glances down at his shoe and then back up with me with a rueful smile. Don't tell the others, but I made that up. Though I'm sure he'll find something for me to do around the farm when I get home. You made it up, I asked with a frown. Why? Well, you know, the rules. Even if sometimes I slip and don't follow them. I shake my head at a loss for words. He's making up excuses to stay away from me? You don't need to do that. These are your friends. You can stay and hang out with them if you want. He takes a step back from me. No, it's really okay, Quinn. Don't worry about it. I see them every day at school, and you don't. But it's just an afternoon. He reaches for one of the dice bracelets I'm wearing from this afternoon, his fingers grazing the skin in the middle of my wrist as he does. I suck in a breath, and he pulls his hand away. The bracelets are a good idea. Then he turns and walks out the door. We get another, hangout session with the girls, Kashfi and Quinn, at Andrew's indoor soccer game, where Logan texts Quinn a picture of some of the dice that he had, offering them to her. Kashfi notes that she wonders why he didn't text both of them if it was for the jewelry. This makes Quinn worry that she may be in a similar situation as her fallout with the old group, where who she thought was her best friend was secretly jealous the whole time kind of situation. That feeling, however, quickly fades when Kashfi says that Mark invited everyone to hang out at the diner that Sloane works at. And then to convince Quinn's parents to let her go, Kashfi lays it on thick to sweeten him up. Like, oh, it's quiet. We go there to study. That's how calm and chill it is. And like, it's a D&D group type thing. While at the diner, Sanjiv mentions an event that is happening at a comic book store near Quinn's old town. Quinn worries about running into Paige and Caden there, but ultimately agrees to go as she doesn't want to miss hanging out with everyone. Before everyone leaves for the night, however, like after the conversation, after the food at the diner, Logan pulls her aside to give her the dice that he sent a picture of, and some, like a giant bag of just miscellaneous dice that he doesn't use. Saying that she would have more use for them than he did. She accepts, and then it's followed by like this like little cute but awkward scene. You should be wearing your hat. Logan points to my coat pocket where I shoved it. I pull it out, but it's hard to put it on with one hand since I'm holding the dice. Let me. I expect him to take the bag, but instead he takes the green hat and steps closer. He gingerly tugs it over my forehead, flattening my bangs over my eyes and making the back of my hat rise to cover the crown of my head. I giggle and he gives an apologetic smile. Sorry, this is harder to do than I thought it would be. Here, I can do it. I hand him the dice, shake out my hair, and pull the hat down so it covers my ears. How's that? He tilts his head and the look in his eyes makes my bones go soft. Perfect, he whispers. Yeah? Yeah, he clears his throat. Sloane makes really good hats, huh? I return his gaze. Something about the darkness makes it easier to meet his eyes. The best. Ready to go? Kashfi calls and comes around the driver's side. Yep, I say, shaking myself and taking the dice back. Look what Logan brought. Her eyes widen. Whoa, that's generous. It's my contribution to the project. You're always such a gentleman. She cuts her eyes to me. He's trying to get a cut of our profits. That's what I said, I cry. Logan grows and throws his hands in the air. I try to do a nice thing, and this is what I get. I'm going home. Sorry, Logan, Kashfi calls at his back. We'll have our people call your people. I climb into the car smiling, but the weight of the dice on my lap isn't as heavy as the weight of my thoughts. I want more of whatever is going on between Logan and me, even if I shouldn't. At the next session, the group all decides on a group costume idea for the comic book store event. Because there's like a little like costume competition, which is cute. They decide that they're gonna go as the D&D group from the 80s cartoon. Sloane is Bobby the Barbarian. Kashfi goes as Sheila the Thief. Sanjiv as Hank the Ranger. Mark as Presto the Magician. Logan as Rick the Cavalier. And Quinn as Diana the Acrobat. Because who needs the Dungeon Master? Kashfi does offer to do Diana's costume instead of Sheila if Quinn was too uncomfortable with Diana's outfit, which I think I would be too, a little bit. Quinn says it's fine, but that she is going to alter the costume as she doesn't want to wear a fur bikini. Again, I don't blame her as a cosplayer myself. I alter costumes and like outfits all the time just to fit like what I'm comfortable with. So totally cool, totally valid. I do love that she did this. After their discussion, they have their next session where there's definitely a couple of moments between Quinn and Logan. I say we try to get out of these chains and attack them, Kashfi tells us. This might be our best chance. No way, I reply. We've already tried that and we know what's going to happen. There might be only 2 here now, but they probably have a whole battalion outside those doors, waiting for us. I think we should agree to his request. Agree? Logan asked, but Nasria doesn't trust anyone or anything. It isn't lost on me that Logan and his character are interacting more and more with me this session. To say it makes the game much more fun. True, I don't trust the king at all, I reply, but if we agree, he'll have to let us go in order to track the dragon, and then we can decide what we're actually going to do. Mark nods approvingly. Sneaky. Makes sense to me, Sanjiv replies. Logan turns to me. I half expected you to try negotiating with him to save yourself since you aren't actually in his debt like I am. That's harsh, even for me. You're one of my party members. He cocks his head and gives me a small smile. Does that mean you're beginning to trust me? I'm not sure yet. A jolt of adrenaline shoots through me at his expression. I'm possibly beginning to think about trusting you. Good to know I've made a small amount of progress then. His gaze is warm without a hint of sarcasm. For what it's worth, I trust you with my life. I make a strangle sound before I can stop myself. He raises an eyebrow and returns his focus to the others. Trying to figure out Logan his heart enough when it's just the two of us, but it's impossible when we're sitting at this table. I know I shouldn't trust anything he says or does here because it's not him, it's Adris, a character he is specially designed to be charismatic. But it's still him playing his character, right? So if he's dismissive of me, is that only because our characters don't get along? If he flirts, is it only his character saying the words? More and more I'm understanding why it's important to keep romance away from this live stream. Makes everything a million more times more confusing. After that session, they talk a little bit about the comments and getting a gather of what their viewers are thinking currently about their live stream. It is mentioned that the chat is really liking Nasria, Quinn's character, but that the chat also enjoys seeing Quinn's character and Logan's character flirt and bicker with each other. And so it's kind of Sloane is definitely catching on a bit of the vibes between these two. The following Sunday is the event at the comic book shop, and the gang all goes to Mark's house so that they can carpool together in his van. And we get a cute description of what Quinn chose for her costume. I looked down with a self-conscious smile. It was hard to find a way to make Diana the acrobat costume work when it's only 45 degrees. The original costume was basically a brown fur bikini and knee-high boots with gold accents. Not exactly winter weather appropriate, plus my parents would have had an aneurysm. Instead, I found a short brown skirt at the local thrift shop, which I paired with thick tights and boots I already owned. For the top, I had to get more creative. I ended up deciding on a brown long-sleeve crop top and added a gold belt and accessories from Grandma's attic boxes. It's an abstract version of the original, more if you know, than the others. But it was the best I could do. And even with all my modifications, I'm still wearing a crop top and mini skirt in the freezing cold. I love that she thrifted her pieces for her costume. I do the same thing. I love a thrifty cosplayer. And honestly, her costume for this character sounds pretty well thought out as an alteration to Diana's original character design. So I don't know. I think it's cute. I like it. And I don't think it's super extreme or in your face. Oh no, she's wearing a long sleeve crop top and a mini skirt over tights, type situation. It's cute. I like it. Logan is the last to arrive, and Quinn definitely is having some thoughts about his costume. Mark, Sanjeev, and Kashfi are debating a playlist for the drive when Logan's truck pulls up in front of the house. I fight to keep my expression bland. He's only another friend, I remind myself. It doesn't matter what he's wearing or what he thinks of my costume. This is all just for fun and the potential for winning free stuff. Unfortunately, my body takes no notice of my calm and rational thoughts. My heart stutters at the sight of him. I was wrong before. He should be the wizard instead of the cavalier, because how am I going to keep my eyes off him all day? His costume clings to every muscle and line in his body in a way that jeans and hoodies could never. Breeze whips his long red cloak behind him, and the effect has me swooning for him like I'm in a Regency romance. It's only a costume, not even a well-designed one, and yet I can't stop staring as he comes around the truck towards us. Our eyes lock and he misses the step onto the curb. He falls forward to his knee, his cloak getting caught in his boots. Oh, I rush forward to help, but he scrambles and jumps back to his feet. I'm fine. His cheeks are adorably pink. His gaze lingers on me. Having inner ear problems, I ask. I think I might be. I love the callback to this like little running joke. It's because when she falls out of the truck, she says that she's fine. She just thinks that she has like an inner ear infection and that's making her a little dizzy and unstable. But it's really because of like her swooning over Logan. And the fact that like Logan is now doing the swooning. On the drive there, Quinn and Logan end up sitting in the very, very back of the van. It's one of those 3-row vans. Flirting obviously ensures, however, ultimately they do end up spending most of the ride talking about the D&D campaign that Logan has been working on. Here, Logan also offers to show Quinn his notes for said campaign at the diner or his house. Now, Logan does this thing where he talks about how they need to stay away from each other while simultaneously still hanging out with her after work and sessions and like finding excuses to go and see her. This happens several times. The gang arrives to the event. They all split up after registering for the costume contest, and they are recognized as a group. Now this section gets kind of heavy in topics of like harassment. It's nothing too extreme. However, I'm still gonna like leave timestamps here for if you wish to like just avoid that topic as a whole. I totally get it, because it does have to do with her her costume and people being weird. So timestamps for if you wish to skip this part. Totally cool if you want to. Quinn, when she separates from the group, heads down to the shop's basement where all the Funkos are kept to look at. And while down there, Paige, Quinn's ex-friend, approaches her. Paige is like immediately antagonistic and comments on her outfit in that like thinly veiled insult, like mean girl way. The basement holds about 500 Funko Pops, much to my delight. I'm so busy studying the collection that I don't notice someone come into my peripheral view until it's too late. That's quite an outfit. My blood turns to ice. Paige stands to my left, her head cocked and her eyes narrowed. I can't breathe, but I also can't stop myself from turning to face her. I haven't seen her since the last day before Christmas break, when she and Michaela breezed past me in the hall of my old high school like I didn't even exist. She looks just the same. I recognize her leggings from our annual back-to-school shopping trip. She'd been worried they weren't flattering, and I'd been quick to argue they made her butt look great. Her blonde hair is pulled into the same ponytail, her nails are long and bright, and her earrings are the ones she always wears. Tiny hearts given to her by her grandfather before he passed away. And how could I not recognize the hoodie she's wearing? It's Cadence. I force air into my lungs and keep my eyes on her, even though I'm desperate to spin around in case Cadence is steps away from me. I don't want Paige to realize how freaked out I am to see her. It's part of a group costume, I explain. My words come out defensive, and her lips lift in a little smirk. What kind of group has you wearing a skirt like that? My new D&D group, we're going as classic D&D characters. She laughs humorously. You already infiltrated a new group? I haven't infiltrated anything. A friend invited me to be a part of an extremely fun livestream group, and they've all been really welcoming. Oh, so you haven't started ripping them apart then. It's probably smart to wait a few months so they don't suspect anything. She taps a finger on her chin. Do you think they're starting to see through you yet? Or do I need to fill them in on any details you might have forgotten to mention? Her words snap me out of my frozen state. I cross my arms over my chest so she can't see that my hands are shaking. I didn't do anything but tell Kaden we were better as friends. You all destroyed our group without any help from me. Quinn, stop pretending you're the victim. You toyed with him while it was fun, and then you crushed him. We all saw it. You're just mad that we called you out on it. My jaw drops open, and my eyes grow scratchy with tears. How did I ever call Paige my best friend? In retrospect, I should have known who she was from her quick judgments and cutting sarcastic words, but she never aimed her cruelty at me, so I brushed it off. or worse, thought it was funny. I turn and walk away from her. There's nothing I can do to change her mind or make this better, but I refuse to cry in front of her. Quinn, who is reasonably upset by this, flees the scene. She tells Kashi and Sloane that she'll be ordering food at a food truck that's like outside, and she uses this as an excuse to get like a moment alone to like collect herself. While waiting for her food, a costume man approaches her creepily and tries to make a pass. Not even a convention, and we still got a con creeper. Logan is there to save her from the uncomfortable event, though. And I'm going to read this section again. Icky. It's icky. A guy dressed as Iron Spider walks over to me, his expression more leering than friendly. He isn't old, but he's definitely out of high school. Nice costume. Who are you supposed to be? Diana the acrobat, I mumble. I don't know who that is, but I'd love to know who you are. I shiver and step away. This is the last thing I need right now. No thanks. Sure? You must be cold. We can go inside and wait for our food together. Someone else steps next to me and I jump away, thinking it might be one of his friends, before realizing it's Logan. Hey, his eyebrows are furrowed. You okay? It's taking forever. I hope he picks up on the desperation in my voice. The gross dude eyes Logan. You with this guy? Logan glances at me as if looking for permission, and I immediately lean into him. He steps closer and puts his arm around my shoulder, pulling me tight to his side. His cloak wraps around my back, and it's like I'm being entirely cocooned by him. Yeah, she's with me. Why does it matter to you? The guy's jaws flexes, but Logan only pulls me tighter to him. I know I don't need a guy to take care of me, but in this moment, I'm so grateful to have him here that I practically melt into him. I just want to say here that like cosplay is not consent, and this is like a very real thing that happens to cosplayers, or really anyone who is either a woman or feminine presenting. Clothing, appearances, that's not consent. That's not an invitation to be like, I'm gonna like push a pass on you. There's a difference between a compliment and being like, hey, you look really cool, and hey, baby, can I get a piece of that later? This moment in the book, it really did like remind me of how people do genuinely act at these kinds of events. And it's gross. It's so gross. And you know, I'm just glad that like Quinn as a character had someone there on her side, because the reality is that a lot of times people like this do get someone alone, and you don't always have someone who's there. So icky situation. Very glad that she had someone there on her side, though. After that whole situation with Paige and run-in with Paige and the weird creepy dude, we do get a cute little buffer of Logan making sure that Quinn is okay, and he even gives her his cloak when he notices that she is cold. After they get their food and they sit down to eat, Logan does mention that more guys are staring at her, and notes that it's weird and creepy and gross. Quinn is shocked and like looks around, and it's during this moment that she looks around that she notices Caden in the crowd, her ex. Before Caden notices her, Quinn panics and takes off running again. Worried, Logan follows her, and they both hide behind a dumpster. Yeah, that's their hiding spot, is in like this stairwell that has like a dumpster conveniently like angled to cover that stairwell down. Romance at its peak. Quinn is like freaking out and explains to Logan what had happened, and the conversation is pretty sweet as we get to see what kind of person Logan is. Logan takes my elbow. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening, but this is weird and we should go. I pull away. I can't see him right now. See who? Caden, one of the ex-friends from my old school. He's here? Logan moves like he's going to climb up the stairs and look around. I jerk him back. Don't call attention to us. The last thing I need is to hear his opinions about this costume after already running into Paige. What could he possibly say other than you're gorgeous? Logan's expression is confused, almost naive. I rub my eyes with the back of my hands. He could also say a lot, Logan. He already thinks I'm a tease, so seeing me walking around wearing this would definitely bring out more observations about how I encourage his feelings for me and then laid waste on him in the group. I rub my hands down my thighs. I shouldn't have worn this stupid costume. It's too tight, calls attention to me like a bullhorn. No, stop. Logan steps closer and takes a hold of my arms. Listen to me. I don't know what this guy's problem is, but it's his problem, not yours. You don't need to change your clothes or what you say or how you act because of him. You're not doing anything wrong. And would you say the same thing if I kissed you and then told you I wasn't interested? My gaze collides with his, defiance and fear swirling through me. Yes, he studies me. You don't owe me anything, Quinn. Not now, not ever. I squeeze my eyes shut to keep the tears away. You shouldn't be the one hiding behind the trash. His words make me shake. I've been trying so hard to forget everything and start new. But I can't forget it all. And I don't want to march up to Caden and tell him off either. I don't want to interact with any of them ever again. But rather than say all that, I only take a step towards the basement door. Okay, Logan's voice is just a whisper now. He pulls his cloak tightly around me like it's a blanket he can wrap me in. It's fine. We'll do whatever you want. I know I look like such a loser, hiding behind a dumpster like this. You don't have to stay with me. His nostrils flare. I'm not leaving you. The only place I want to be is next to you. Logan, you shouldn't say things like that. I shake my head. What happened to the group's rules? And you saying you shouldn't be around me? I can't figure out what's going on with us. I can't either. I look up to the sky and blow out a frustrated breath. Then that's even worse. Believe me, I know what I want. But I also know I'm not allowed to have it. The heat of his expression jolts me. This will only lead to trouble, I whisper. His eyes darken and he steps closer. Sometimes trouble can be good. I'll take whatever trouble you want to give me. Fire dances up my spine through every nerve in my body. He raises a hand around my face and brushes his finger through my hair. You wouldn't believe how long I've wanted to do that. I can't help it. I lean into his hand. His touch feels so good, comforting and relaxing and right, but my heart is thundering with anticipation and fear of what this means. I know I was a jerk to you when you were debating joining the game, and I'm sorry, he continues. I thought maybe if I was rude enough, then you'd decide the game wasn't worth it, which I admit was a really selfish plan. And once it was clear that wouldn't work, I tried ignoring you, I tried staying away, but it turns out ignoring you is almost impossible. His fingers skim down my cheek to my neck. You're addicting, Quinn. I talk to you for a minute and it makes me want to talk for an hour. I touch you for a second. He brings up his other hand so I'm perfectly positioned to kiss him. And I'm going to want more. I'm puttying his hands. I'm seconds away from lifting onto my toes to kiss him and entering the misery building inside of me. But a tiny voice of self-preservation shouts at me from the back of my mind. The worst experience of my life happened because I got involved with someone in my game. I lost my best friend. I lost my entire circle of friends. It wasn't my fault, and it shouldn't have happened that way, but it doesn't change the fact that it did happen. And maybe if I'd never gone on that date with Caden, everything would be different now. I don't want to repeat the same mistakes. Logan, I pull away and rub my hands over my eyes like I can rub some common sense into my brain. I don't know. He pulls his hands from me. That's fine. I meant when I said, you don't owe me anything, but I promise I would never treat you the way he did. You deserve so much better than that. It's not just that. Things like this can ruin friend groups and D&D groups. You said it yourself when I first joined. There are rules against dating party members for a reason. It makes everything messy. You love being part of this group, and so do I. I love hanging out with everyone. They're all so tight-knit, and I'm grateful they've included me. I can't lie to them. Like, not only is Logan being very sweet to Quinn in this moment, but also does understand her hesitancy in pursuing anything with each other, due to her past experience. I also do love the fact that he does take a second to explain why he was a jerk and apologize for it again. Like, I love that there's actual communication between these two. Again, I feel like that's something that we don't get. I also just hate the miscommunication trope, so I'm glad that they're like, hey, let's talk about this. And they do talk about it a lot. This does make the whole, like, forbidden romance factor a little funny, as the only thing that's truly stopping them from seeing each other and dating is the friend group rule, in which at this point Logan is like so ready to throw that rule out the window. He does not care. He is just so into Quinn that he is like, throw the whole rule away. I want Quinn. Quinn, however, again, has trauma, past experiences. She's hesitant, and he does respect that. There's also like a moment where you think that they're about to kiss, but Logan is like, I have more self-control than that. I'm not gonna kiss you. But Quinn does ask what would have happened if he dropped his self-control, like, completely. And he responds with, then I'd pressed you against that door and kissed you until the sun went down. Again, Logan is really down bad for Quinn. And then the moment was broken by Kashfi finding them together. I will say I'm glad that they did not have their first kiss behind the dumpster, because there for a while it seemed like it was written like that was what was going to happen, was they were going to kiss behind the dumpster. But anyways, Kashfi finds them, and it's incredibly awkward, but that like feeling of awkwardness melts away, like stumbling in on two people in a kind of compromising position. It melts away when Quinn explains that she ran into Paige and had seen Kaden there. To which then Kashfi is like, are you okay? It does turn out though that like Kashfi was looking for them because they won the group costume contest, and the event wanted to give them wanted to give them their prizes and like take pictures. After all of that, the group decided that they had seen everything that they had wanted to see. And they decided to leave. This time on the way back, Quinn actually sits with Kashfi instead of Logan. And she spends this entire ride thinking about what he had said back at the dumpster. Also, like a little note of like, something that's not important now, but will be later, that during the car ride back, Quinn suggested listening to one of her favorite podcasts called The Smiling DM. Kind of like take that and just like stick that in the back of your head. Back at Mart's, Logan offers Quinn a ride home, but she instead takes Kashfi up on her offer, and they talk about the event and what had happened between Quinn and Paige. And then Kashfi points out the cloak. It was nice of him to give you this. Kashfi tugs on the cloak that's spread across the seat, and my stomach twists with guilt. I've got to get my mind off of him. It wasn't a big deal. I got cold waiting for food outside. That sounds like Logan. As kind as he is cute. Kashfi raises her eyebrows at me as she parks in front of my house. Oh God, my emotions must be so obvious. It's like they're written across my forehead for anyone to read. I jump out of the car feeling jittery. Thanks for the ride. I'd invite you in, but my parents are scraping wallpaper off the hallway walls. It's a total mess in there. No problem. I'm ready to get into pajamas and curl under at least 3 blankets. It was fun hanging out today, though. Absolutely. See you soon. At this point, we're a little over halfway into the book. The halfway point was like page 160, I think. Logan texts her saying he wished that she had let him take her home instead, and also tells her to keep the cloak. She offers to bring it to their next game regardless, though. And during these texts, Grandma Barbara invites the two of them to play pickleball, because Logan texts her and was like, hey, your grandma just invited me to play pickleball. What's this about? And Quinn is like, you don't have to. You don't have to go play pickleball with us. And Logan responds with, your grandma doesn't take no for an answer. Quinn worries that them hanging out will be dangerous for them since they agreed to keep things platonic at this point. Logan responds by saying, playing geriatric sports is the safest thing that they can do together. I have no idea what pickleball is, I'm not gonna lie. So they play pickleball with Grandma Barbara and her pickleball partner Jim after school. And Logan gets really into it, like competitive wise, like really into it. And like Grandma Barbara and her partner Jim, they absolutely demolish these two. And the game actually ends with Quinn crashing into Logan in that like cliche tangled together in a maybe compromising position type way. And yeah, that's how the pickleball like thing goes. And Quinn's actually now the one who takes Logan home this time, and she gets to see the farm that he lives on. And when they arrive, he awkwardly asks her if she would like to see the baby calf that they've been bottle feeding. Of course, she said yes. I would say yes to seeing a baby cow on someone's farm. And while babying the cow, Logan's father shows up and teases him for introducing Quinn to the calf before his family. Now, his father has to know his crush on Quinn because he refers to her as his girlfriend. Bring your boots next time and I'll put you to work, Chuck tells me, as long as you don't name the animals. Logan groans. We're not putting Quinn to work on the farm. Isn't that what she did with you, having you help at Barbara's? Or was that just an excuse to spend more time with your girlfriend? Chuck has to know. Like, he has to. Before leaving, Quinn points out the shed, and Logan explains it's where he keeps his book and D&D stuff, as his room is too small. And the shed, like, started out as, like, a hobby shed for Logan's mother, who found it too cold, and so she doesn't use it, and so Logan took it over. And bringing up, like, that's where he keeps his D&D stuff, Quinn throws out more ideas for his campaign. And they talk about that a little bit. And it's cute. It's fun. They have another discussion about their relationship, but this time they talk about talking to the group about it and reconsidering the dating rule. Quinn does mention to Logan her fears about destroying the group, and the subject is once again dropped for now. At this point in the book, we get a lot of inner monologue from Quinn and how she feels about Logan, and strong implications that both of them are ready to throw the rules out the window. Like, both of them are incredibly down bad for each other. Again, we see it with Logan. Logan has been ready to just throw the rules out the window. Quinn is getting there. Like, she's been down bad for a minute now over Logan, but not to the point of, like, screw the rules. Like, she's not quite at the point of wanting to, like, of being over what happened with her past group and that fear to, like, pursue a relationship yet. After the farm scene, Logan and Quinn do start texting each other a lot more, like one-on-one, not in the group chat. And it started with Logan sending pictures of the calf. And as they start, like, texting more, Quinn starts to wish that Logan was a jerk and not cool, kind, and funny, in her words. But not only is she thinking about Logan, but also how she told Paige about the live stream, and worries that she might look them up and try to sabotage the stream. And she does confide in Logan with this, who in turn comforts her. They do make plans to meet at his place of work on one of his breaks, where Logan asks her about how she's feeling about the whole Paige situation and, like, comforts her. And Quinn explains that she is still anxious about it, but she's mostly feeling better about it and kind of just, like, hopes that she's not going to look up the live stream. They also do agree that they want to speak to the group and see how they might respond to the idea of them dating. So, just wondering, have your feelings changed at all since Monday? He asks. They're our friends. I bet we can make them understand. I bite my lip and look down at the ground. Maybe they'll understand, or maybe they'll be pissed we've been sneaking around and breaking one of the carefully designed rules we agreed on to keep the group together. Once we do it, there's no going back. That's true, and we don't need to say anything if you aren't ready. His gaze rakes over my face. In the meantime, I'll try to get used to watching you bite your lower lip without wishing it was me doing that instead. Fire flows through me at his word. This situation is impossible. What if we fill them out tomorrow after the game, I ask. We can bring up the idea very generally and see how they react. Hopefully he won't care. I like that plan. My chest aches with the treacherous wish for him to step closer and kiss me. I shove the feeling away and shake my head to clear it. And if they aren't cool with that idea, then I guess I'm gonna get very accustomed to pain. For the next game, Kashi and Sloane have a little hangout at Quinn's where they're making more jewelry and hats to sell. They have actually found places to sell their bracelets, their jewelry, their hats at like local shops, and they're just like restocking essentially. But I'm really happy that like we get little scenes like this in this book, and like the group being a friend group and like hanging out and doing stuff together outside of like school and outside of D&D related things. Like, yeah, they're making D&D inspired bracelets, but they're not playing D&D. They're just making jewelry, and one's making hats, and it's cute. It's nice. It's really nice to get to see friends be friends in books. I feel like that's something we have not gotten a whole lot of recently in certain novels. But that's just my opinion. Here, Sloane does ask Quinn about the whole situation with Paige, saying that they overheard that something had happened, that there was a run-in with her, but they never got the full story, and they were concerned. Quinn fills them in and notes that Sloane is the most observant of the group and wonders if they may have noticed what's been going on between her and Logan. Now, when the next session begins, Sloane is acting strange and being sure to mention that the group is having a lot of fun together. Their session does go well, but it doesn't go unnoticed by the other players that Sloane is acting weird. They do eventually relent and tell everyone that there have been some trolls in the chat and that they're not fans of Quinn. The group reassures her that none of it is true, but Quinn still wishes to read the comments. Can I see the comments? I ask. Sloane hesitates. That's not a good idea. Everybody says don't read the comments for a reason. But I'm already standing up. I know they're probably right, but I want to see if I recognize the usernames or if these really are strangers trolling me. Both options are horrible. I stand over Sloane's shoulder and scroll back through the chat. There aren't a lot of comments, so the bad ones are easy to find. At TR_XP50. Some of this is cool, but the dwarf is the weakest link. At Dice Haven. The dwarf's role-playing is the worst. I scroll to the top of the chat. At P. Lynn. Beware of your dwarf. She's poisoned for D&D. At Fighter_CM64. I see she's found a new group to destroy. Good luck to you all. I suck in a breath and step back. My eyes meet Logan's and he jumps to his feet. He strides around the table to read over my shoulder. I don't think Sloane begins, but it's too late. He's already seen. He makes an angry growling sound in the back of his throat. What the actual... They aren't trolls, I whisper to him, more tears threatening to come, and his face falls with understanding. He reaches for my hand, but I pull away. The last thing I need is for the others to figure out at the same moment they're reading these comments about me being a group killer. Kashi pushes the chair back, ready to stand as well. Mark and Sanjiv are leaning forward with agitation. What's going on? Sanjiv asks. Everyone stares at me. It's not hard to figure out the usernames. At Fighter_CM64 is definitely Caden. Fighter is his favorite class. Those are his initials. And 64 is his favorite number. Didn't even try to be creative or sneaky. Paige's middle name is Lynn, so it isn't hard to figure out who P. Lynn is. The other two aren't quite as obvious, but I'm guessing at TR_XP50 is Travis, and maybe Michaela is Dice Haven. After the whole issue with the comments, Quinn decides now that she is going to finally tell the entire group, because at this moment only Kashfi knew and Logan knew some of it. about what happened with the old group, and they take turns reassuring her that there's nothing to worry about with them. And while that's sweet, this does, however, solidify the group's thinking that the no interdating rule is a good idea. Like, Sanjeev and Salone are like so very open about being like, this is why we have the rule. Like, this is what keeps, you know, our group going good the way it does, because we don't date others within the group. And so Quinn takes it hard. And finds an excuse to go home early rather than hanging out with the rest. While leaving, Kashvi runs up after her and check in on her and gives her a little more like reassurance. Hey, can we talk before you leave? She asks. Of course. She pulls me into the living room, which luckily is empty. Are you okay? You practically ran out of the basement. I'm tempted to word vomit the entire situation with me and Logan. Kashvi's been so great, and she doesn't deserve a friend who isn't completely truthful. But I'm too scared of her reaction to say anymore. So instead, I only smile and say, I'm alright, just a little shook up. I'm so glad I met you. I love the others. She lowers her voice. But it's so much better now that you're here. She wraps her arm around me and pulls me into a big hug. Squeeze her back, grateful she can't see my face. Now, Quinn's thoughts are a mess when she gets home, and Logan actually does surprise her like at her door. And Quinn's inner dialogue during this are fighting each other. It's like the whole there's two wolves inside of you, except there's more than two wolves and they're all fighting. With like lines of dialogue like, I almost don't want to see him. I should be careful how I react to him. And yet I can't stop the jump in my pulse when his eyes catch mine. There's also like this other, like this little section in it that I found a little, like it made me giggle. I mean, it was funny. The weight of the knowledge that we're alone in the house makes my skin hot and tight. We keep finding ourselves in these situations. Well, more truthfully, we keep putting ourselves in them. And like, I'm glad that there's a moment of like self-awareness that like, yes, they do in fact keep doing this to themselves. She asks Logan why he's there, and he himself says that he's not sure. He just kind of felt like it. They talk about how they feel though after like the whole group being keen on the no dating rule, and both of them are upset. It's bad timing with the comments, Quinn says. With that, Logan mentions that if he ever runs into Caden's, hands will be thrown. Quinn does interrupt this thought by saying that he won't be doing anything because Caden isn't worth it, and that Logan shouldn't be jealous of Caden. Logan says that he is jealous though because he wants to kiss her, and this moment I feel like is a little bit too much for like two 17-year-olds, but at least it's two 17-year-olds, I guess. But he like picks her up and puts her on the kitchen counter and like stands in between her legs kind of thing. Like hands on her knees. Quinn says that she wants a relationship with him, but is like really worried that she's jeopardizing the group, especially now after like the whole thing with the comments and the group reiterating that they like the no dating rule. And Logan is kind of like, well, they may come around after a few months. Neither of them want to wait a couple of months to have a relationship with each other, all because of comments. And they do almost kiss here, but Logan pulls away last minute saying that he shouldn't have come, but Quinn says that she is in fact glad that he did. And while in a still in a, for lack of better words, kind of scandalous position, they are interrupted by Andrew walking in. He immediately is like on the defense, asking what's going on. He also mentions having seen the comments on the live stream and how he's not happy about it. and how they're speaking about Quinn. He gets all like, so you're dating another D&D loser? And Logan does try to defend himself. Meanwhile, Quinn is like standing there baffled that Andrew even watches the stream. She is a bit suspicious about this fact too. There are a billion things he'd have more fun doing. I guess it's sweet that he'd care enough to watch. But mostly, I'm suspicious. I put a hand on my hip. Well, whatever this protective act is, you can stop now. Logan is a friend. A friend with benefits, he mutters. You thought your old friends were cool too. Listen, I know you don't know me. Logan interrupts, stepping forward as if he thinks we're about to lunge at each other's throats. But all of us care way too much about Quinn to ever act like that. Yeah, I saw how much you care a few seconds ago. Do you have any idea what she went through with her last group? Now I'm the one who might need to break up a fight. Andrew, stop. I hold out a hand to keep him back and turn to Logan. I'm fine, Logan reassures me before I can say anything. To my surprise, he doesn't look angry. I'll go. He nods to Andrew and walks to the door. When it clicks shut at his back, I whirl on Andrew. What the hell has gotten into you? Logan is a good guy. You didn't need to act like that with him. Or like you're my big protector when we both know you couldn't care less about what's going on with me. That's not true, he argues, and pulls a Gatorade from the refrigerator like we're having a casual chat about the weather. That's a surprise to me. I like it here, he replies, as if that makes sense given the context of the conversation. Okay. What they did really messed you up, and I don't want to move again. What are you talking about? We didn't move because of me. We moved because Grandma needed help. But the fact that you were so miserable certainly motivated Mom and Dad. I tilt my head. Did it? Didn't seem like anyone took much notice of what was happening with me at the end of the last year. I didn't necessarily mind, since I wanted as much space as possible. It wasn't fun living with you after that, Andrew continues. His shoulders slump. I didn't like seeing you that way. Some of the sharpness in my chest softens. I guess there are worse things in life than having an overprotective little brother. Although, his timing could have been a lot better. I take a Diet Coke from the fridge and scrub a hand over my face. Thank you for worrying, I guess, but it's not necessary. I'm happy here too. This new group is really great. He sniffs. You certainly seemed interested in Kashfi before, I say with a raised eyebrow. He shrugs me off. She doesn't count. The solution to this riddle from before comes to me. I bet that's why he was logging into our game. He wasn't doing it to see me. He was doing it for Kashfi. She does definitely suss out the real reason why he watches is due to his little crush on Kashfi, which is mentioned like earlier in the book. Like very briefly, he kind of is just like, Kashfi's hot, you should bring her over. On Monday, Kashfi and Quinn hang out. They restock their at the stores that they sell at. And while discussing it, Quinn mentions that it's good that they still have leftover dice from the stash Logan gave them. Kashfi mentions that it's annoying how hot and kind Logan is. And they talk about how Kashfi thinks Logan is attractive and has a bit of a crush on him. But she gave it up long ago because of the rules. She also mentions how serious Salome is over the rules, as they nixed a player because Salome knew Mark had a crush on her. This is on like a completely like unnamed person that was originally invited, but Salome was like, no, Mark has a crush on her. We can't have this. With this information, Quinn starts like freaking out that this is going to be another Paige situation with like Caden, but instead Kashfi and Logan. But before she can like mentally sort any of it out, she's informed that they are going to the hospital like immediately because Grandma fell again. Not gonna get too big in details on like Grandma falling. Just like too close to home. But she didn't have the strength to get up. She is thankfully okay. And this is when Quinn's parents manage to convince her it's time for her to be in like a retirement facility. Barbara is not happy about this though. Like she's really not happy. So after they've been informed about Barbara now going into a retirement facility, like assisted living. They are now helping her pack for her new place, and again, Barbara's not happy. She is making it known. She is making it very known that she is not happy. Like, she is going back and forth with her son, Quinn's dad, about it. And she kind of gets all like, she kind of goes, well, I invited someone who'll be on my side. It's obviously Logan. And it is Logan who shows up, and he brings her orange sherbet, which is her favorite. This is also the first time that Logan meets Quinn's parents, and Quinn's mom is really pleased with Logan's thoughtfulness and says that it might perk Barbara up having him here. Because, like, Quinn's dad is kind of like, well, we don't need the extra help, really. But, yeah. Quinn's mom is like, oh, but it will perk up Barbara. And he was so thoughtful to bring her orange sherbet. Like, we can't let him leave. He's staying. She does perk up and is very keen to let Logan put himself to work with Quinn. They take boxes. They take the packed boxes out to the car. During the back and forth of coming inside and going back outside with, like, the boxes and, loading up the car, Quinn worries about what Kashi had said about her crush on Logan. And she suggests to Logan that they stop seeing each other alone. They're both a mess about, like, coming to agree to this, but they do eventually agree. Logan very begrudgingly agrees. And even though it was Quinn's idea, she's still devastated at this prospect. They go 10 days of keeping distance. No texting, and they hardly interacted at their D&D session. Things change when Quinn checks in on her grandma as they finish up packing up her house. And Grandma Barbara complains a little bit before randomly suggesting to take a drive. Quinn tries to, like, talk her out of it and out of driving because she wants to drive, like, an hour out of time, like an hour out of town. And Quinn's dad is very like, Barbara, or Mom, you can't drive out of town. You have to, like, take short trips. You can't do long trips. Like, driving in town was fine, but driving an hour out of town was, it's obviously not fine. And Quinn notices this and is like, Grandma, why don't we go somewhere closer? And Barbara's mind does not change. I'm gonna also keep this next part very, very brief. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm blowing through this part, because I kind of am. It hits really close to home with an actual situation with my family. So reading this in the book, I kind of was like whoa, that's, like, almost exactly kind of what happened with my family. So Grandma Barbara's driving skills are concerning and definitely declining. There's, like, some idle chatter between them, and it's here that Quinn learns from her grandma that not only does Andrew watch the live streams, but Quinn's parents do, as well as Barbara. And it's here when Barbara mentions that she wants to learn how to play D&D, and kind of, like, suggest, like, getting together a group of people at the retirement home to, like, also play D&D. Their conversation, though, however, is completely cut short as they get into an accident. Thankfully, everyone is okay. They're just shocked. The car, however, is not okay. Like, it's completely totaled. This makes Quinn ask her grandma how she truly is feeling, and they have a deep heart-to-heart. We stare at the car in silence for a moment. How are you, Grandma? I ask quietly. I already told you I'm fine. I shake my head and turn toward her. No, I mean, how are you actually doing with everything? Because if I didn't know better, I think you were running from something and taking me along for the ride. She purses her lips, which make the small wrinkles around her lips more prominent. Someone thinks they're a therapist today. I cross my arms over my chest. She rolls her eyes and does the same. It's hard getting old, that's all, especially when I still feel like I'm 30. It's hard not being able to do all the things you want, not being able to plan as far into the future because you don't know what's coming. And whatever is coming, it's usually not going to be good. We moved here and that was pretty good. Yes, that was the best. So maybe there is more good stuff on the horizon. You might be getting older, but you're still, I don't know, young old to me. You can still make new friends, start new hobbies. Life doesn't have to stop when you move in. It'll be a different life, though. Yeah, but different doesn't mean bad. I stare at the contorted car, but I'm thinking about my new school and friends. Sometimes different is better. Particularly when you're 16, she squeezes my hand. Life's so short, it doesn't feel that way all the time. I know, but even after living for 75 years, it feels short. I want so many more years than I'll ever get. I want to argue with her, but I don't know what else to say. I'm not sure I can fix this for her. Instead, we hold hands and stand together in silence. Birds chirp around us, getting ready for spring. There's the distant hum of a car engine. She shakes herself. All we can do is live it. She looks straight in my eyes, her expression almost stern. Live your life, Quinn. Every minute of it. Don't drift through it. Live it. Quinn then calls her dad, who then calls the police and a tow truck. And while dealing with the police on the scene, Barbara suggests and encourages Quinn to see if Logan would pick her up so that she's not like waiting there while as they're like filing a police report and like, you know, stuff with tow trucks. And he does come pick her up. On the car ride, he basically is just checking in with Quinn, asking her if she's okay. I mean, she just got into a car wreck. And after, you know, making sure she's fine, they talk about the 10 days that they spent apart from each other, no texting and barely interacting at the D&D party, or D&D campaign sessions. They both say that they weren't exactly having that great of a time and that it was like very hard to keep like distance. And this is when Logan mentions that he had an interesting conversation with Andrew. Apparently Andrew like came up to him at school and basically said that he would tear Logan limb from limb if he did anything to hurt her. Which, you know, protective little brother. And yeah, Logan says that he is going to protect Quinn. After, you know, catching up from the past 10 days, Logan invites Quinn back to his place to go see the shed and the baby calf. Quinn agrees by saying that today seems like a good day for bad choices. When they arrive, Logan's mom is actually there waiting with hot chocolate in hand and there to, you know, ask her how her and her grandma are, because like Barbara knows Logan's family and vice versa. Like they come out and help Barbara a lot. Maybe not necessarily Logan before Quinn moved, but his mom and dad. So she's like, oh my god, are you guys okay? Like, how's Barbara? How are you? And like after like making sure that they're okay, she does grow suspicious when Logan is like, hey, we're actually gonna like go to the shed because like it's so far on the property because they have a farm, so there's at least an acre or two that they're dealing with, and it's like way out there away from the house. It's like described that when they look through the window that the house, you couldn't even tell if the lights were on, let alone could tell if anyone was in the shed. So now Quinn adores the shed. The book collection, the D&D stuff, the conversations that could be had there, the love seat that is by one of the windows, the fact Logan's there. She adores the shed. Now, Logan confesses that being away from Quinn is a lot harder than he originally thought. and how he, in the moment, keeps thinking about kissing her. And I'm actually gonna just, like, read this conversation. I don't just mean right now, Quinn. I don't know how to be around you at all. I'm not sure how many more times I can sit across that D&D table from you and hold myself back from kissing you. His words are edged with such anxiety that I want to smooth them. I try for a lighthearted comment to break the tension. I actually remember you glaring at me a lot from across the table. That's because I already knew that this was going to happen. I knew it from the first morning when I took your picture, and it didn't help that you were totally unaffected at the games while I was a mess. Are you kidding? I was a mess too. Maybe I was better at hiding it. This shed is small enough that he is next to me with one large step. His gaze burns a line of fire in every place it trails over. Do you know how happy I was when your text came in earlier? And how guilty and horrible I felt when I figured out why you were texting? Not being with you is driving me crazy. His hand encircles my own. He turns my palm and lifts it to his mouth, his lips pressing gently on the soft skin on the inside of my wrist. Logan, I whisper. I'll listen if you tell me to step away, he whispers. He's asking for the impossible. My arms wrap around his neck and my heart beats out of my chest. I tilt my head and his breathing changes. His hands grip my waist tightly. I close my eyes and lift my mouth to his, every nerve ending inside me igniting at the feel of his lips on mine. He's in motion immediately, his hands rising up my back, turning to press me up against the nearest wall. His hands cradle my head, protecting me from the rough stone as his mouth presses hard against mine. I liquefy in his touch. Nothing could prepare me for how much better it feels than I ever expected. My body thrums with electricity. His hands wrap around my lower back, bringing me even closer to him. And I slide my hands over the soft flannel of his shirt and into his hair. His lips are soft as he deepens the kiss, and sparks lick up and down my spine. My awareness narrows to the feel of his mouth and body. There's no space left for thoughts or worries. There's only this moment, only Logan. He pulls away and we both suck in a breath. His eyes are wild, his hair mussed and cheeks pink, and I must look the same. This is so much more dangerous than I imagined. Before I could tell myself that it was all in my head, that kissing him couldn't possibly be as great as I let myself imagine it to be. But the truth is, kissing Logan is 1,000 times better than that. Okay. Their first kiss is then followed by a discussion of what they're going to do and how they're going to proceed with their relationship, and also like their group's no dating each other rule. Quinn is still convinced that the group is going to hate her and that the group's going to say, you just ruined our group because you have feelings for another one of the party members. And so her anxiety is so bad about thinking that she is going to ruin things that Logan is like, well, I'll quit then. And she's like, well, no, if anyone should quit, it should be me since I'm the new player. Logan disagrees like immediately and insists that really neither of them should have to quit, that they should just talk to the others. And I agree, they should just talk to the group. Quinn does agree to this plan to speak to the others before their next session, but tells him to wait to text them to like head over, or that they have a conversation that needs to be discussed before the campaign, so everyone should be there early. She tells him, hey, don't text everyone yet. I need to speak to Kashfi first. And she doesn't tell Logan why, but she is waiting to speak to Kashfi first because she is concerned about her aforementioned crush on Logan at one point, and she's just like, hey, like, is this chill? Are we gonna be okay? Girly is anxious. She texts Kashfi that she needs to speak to her and asks her when she's going to be free. Kashfi says that it's going to be another hour or two because she's not home. And she's like, okay. And while she is waiting for Kashfi to go back home, her parents actually ask her to go pick up Andrew from a coffee date. And so she's like, okay, yeah, I might as well. I have nothing to do while I'm waiting. When she arrives to the coffee shop and like parks her car, she recognizes one of the cars in the parking lot and is like, hold on, that's Kashfi's car. And when she goes in, it is confirmed that it is Kashfi and that the coffee day Andrew is on is with her. it's a really awkward, like, situation there, like, conversation. And Kashfi worries that Quinn is mad. Quinn, needing to talk to Kashfi alone, shoos Andrew off so that she can have a serious discussion with her. And, like, both Andrew and Kashfi are sitting here like, oh my gosh, she's gonna, like, try to talk us out of seeing each other. And in reality, it's Quinn telling Kashfi about Logan. I'm going to just read the conversation. All right, let me have it. What makes Andrew such a monster that I should never speak to him again? I was serious before. I'm not here about that. Andrew can be good when he wants to be. There's something else I want to talk about. She waits expectantly. Okay, but the words don't come out. I lick my dry lips and clear my throat. So I'm not sure how this thing with Andrew might change what I'm about to say, but either way, I want to start by saying that I'm sorry it took me so long to talk to you about this. I love having you as a friend, and I didn't want to jeopardize that, but that's no excuse. I'll never forget the way you welcomed me the first week. She grows still. Quinn, you're scaring me. What's going on? Logan and I kissed last night. She blinks, but otherwise there's no reaction. It's as if we're in a TV show and someone hit pause. I want to fill the silence with all my rationales and explanations, but I hold back. I owe her time to process too. You kissed? She whispers finally. How? I mean, I know how, but why? She shakes her head. Sorry, I'm not making sense. I guess I know why, because you wanted to, but I'm just... Gosh, V, I'm sorry. All this stuff with Andrew aside, I know you like Logan. You told me that, and I kissed him anyway. Not to mention that we all agreed we wouldn't get together with anyone in our group, and I broke that trust. Give me a second. She leans back on the booth cushion. I knew you were friends, obviously, and I knew you'd spent some time together helping your grandma, but did this just come out of nowhere? I hesitate. She might be more empathetic if I soften the truth a bit, but I'm tired of keeping secrets. She needs to know what's really been happening if there's a chance for us to move past this. No, there's been something growing between us for a long time now. I promise, I've been trying to fight it. We both have, but Grandma and I got into a car accident last night, and... Wait, you got into an accident? You should have led with that. Are you okay? We're both okay. It was scary, but neither of us is hurt. Happened close to Logan's farm, so I called him to pick me up, and... Well, things happened. I avert my eyes like a coward. Things like him kissing you. Actually, I kissed him, but I'm pretty sure he would have done it if I hadn't. I expect her face to contort with shock and anger, but she only just sits there, her head cocked to the side studying me. Then the corner of her mouth quirks up and she leans forward. Is he a good kisser? My mouth drops open. That's what you want to know? Her grin spreads. I have to say, I've always been curious. He seems like he would be. I blink and look around the cafe in case a group of choreographed actors are about to jump out and scream, Psych! You're the worst friend ever to exist! Why aren't you mad right now? She laughs and shakes her head. But I broke all the rules. I kissed someone you had a crush on. Did you do it to hurt me? Or mess with the group? No, of course not. We decided we'd stop being alone together. We made promises, but you couldn't stay away from each other. I nod slowly. It sounds like to me you might be falling for him. I freeze. I'm scared to admit it out loud, but that's exactly what it feels like. She must be able to read my expressions because she raises one eyebrow and gives me a knowing look. Quinn, how could I be mad about the fact that you're head over heels for one of my closest friends? You may be trying to hide it right now, but everything about you is screaming it. It's in your expressions and your voice and the way you talk about him. I wouldn't deny you that. No real friend would. Her curls are falling in her face, and there's such sympathy in her expression that tears prick at my eyes. But what about all the things you said before about Logan? You have every right to hate me. Logan is cute, and he crossed my mind on occasion, but it's not like I was dating him. It was only a crush. But I am hurt that you didn't tell me sooner. Now it's my turn to lift an incredulous eyebrow. You are literally on a secret date with my brother right now. She laughs and holds up her hands in surrender. Okay, you have a point. In my defense, it was only coffee. But alright, we've clearly both been keeping some secrets. Although, my secret's only like 2 days old. How long have you been holding yours in? Since maybe the first day I met you all? Quinn, you liked him all this time and never told me? I thought we were friends. We were. We are. Hopefully. That's why I didn't want to tell you. I was scared of losing you. She blows out an exasperated breath. That last group really messed you up. You're lucky you found us. My heart soars. So you really aren't mad? I'm not mad. I take a deep breath. I feel better than I have in months. I could run a marathon. I could bench press this entire coffee shop. It's a heartwarming moment ending with them saying that they're best friends. I love girl friendship. I really do. While Quinn drives Andrew back home, we do get to see the siblings reconnect with each other. Just as Quinn is surprised that Andrew watches the stream, he is surprised that Quinn knows his jersey number. They also both agree to be generally supportive of each other's relationship. Now, things kind of hit the fan a bit. Quinn texted Logan saying she was leaving for the game so that they can talk to the group together, and there is no answer. She gets there and Logan is already there and hadn't told her. This starts stressing Quinn out, but Kashfi is there to ground her, and it turns out that everyone is there early because the router wasn't working, so Mark stopped by to help. Salone was still having issues with the stream as well, and so all of them are kind of just like stressed out already. And so then Sanjiv jumping in immediately with, Quinn, why are you quitting? Quinn is obviously confused because she never did say that she was going to quit. And Logan is like already trying to like clear things up. Salone, knowing that things might blow up between them, has to intervene and play mediator a bit. That doesn't matter right now, Sanjiv interrupts. Quinn, you're thinking about quitting D&D? Why would you want to do that? My eyes flare wide in shock. What's going on? No, that's not what I said. Logan waves his hands frantically. I spin to him. Then what are you saying, and why didn't you text me back? Logan didn't say you were quitting, Sloane says, and takes a seat at the opposite end of the table from where they usually sit as DM, so that they're between Logan and me. Their voice is low and cautious, like they know things are going to get out of control, and they're trying to talk us all down. He said that if you brought up quitting today, then we had a promise we wouldn't let you no matter what, though he wouldn't explain why you'd be thinking about it. Sloane shoots him an accusatory glance. I thought you were happy playing with us. I am happy, so happy, to be a part of this and to be friends with you all. I slide into my seat and Kashfi does the same. I make sure to look at each person so that they can see what I'm saying is genuine. I don't want to quit. That's great, Sanjiv says. But then why are you freaking out, Logan? She's fine. I pin a glare at him. Why would you sneak over here early when we agreed we were going to talk ahead of time? I don't know. Logan rubs both hands over his face and through his hair again. I guess because I thought you were going to do the same thing and I wanted to beat you to it. The way you were talking last night about how you had to do something, I started thinking you were going to come over here early and quit before I could stop you. Yesterday you said that was the solution. Wait, so there is talk of quitting? Mark asks. You should have waited. My voice is low and my words are only for Logan. I know, he replies, though he doesn't look remorseful. I forgot about that part. He's not remorseful. But I wanted to take quitting off the table since that was the first place your mind went. And I knew if I said it while you were here, you'd fight me on it. So you went behind my back? He leans forward, his eyes sharp. Only because I refuse to let you quitting the group be a possible solution. That is not how we're solving this. Solving what? Sanjiv cries and throws his hands up in the air. Did you ever stop to think that maybe we should be coming up with these solutions together? I snap. I would if you'd tell me what was going on inside your head instead of keeping secrets. Okay, someone needs to stop and explain why you're fighting, Mark commands. We're not fighting, we say simultaneously. Alright, so it's then Kashfi who interjects and pulls the conversation back on track to explain why these two are fighting. She says that it's because of her and that she admits that, like, back in the day, she used to have a bit of a crush on Logan and that Quinn just wanted to speak to her first before speaking to the whole group about what Quinn's later going to admit in a second. Sanjeev has like the worst reaction out of like everyone. Mark's kind of like they're confused. Salone is like, nice, what does this have to do with anything? And Sanjeev is just like, ew, you liking Logan is like if I dated Sloane, Quinn, or Mark. Like, he's just absolutely disgusted. Quinn follows this reaction by saying that her and Logan had kissed and detailed that they were trying not to get involved with each other, but it still happened. Sanjeev and Mark are like really shocked by this revelation, but Salone had already put two and two together and was kind of like, yeah, you guys had vibes. I was picking up on them. And then they ask, so what do we do now? Like, how do we proceed with this information of like what you just admitted? And Sanjeev is like, well, you guys should just move past it. It doesn't have to mean anything. And Logan was like, it doesn't have to mean anything for our group, but we're not moving past it. We want a relationship together. And Logan goes as far as confessing that he is in love with Quinn and that he isn't going to give up the relationship. And Quinn reciprocates. Kashvi, the girl's girl that she is immediately supportive. And it's like, yeah, this is a good idea. We should let them have their relationship. The rest take a second, but eventually they like come around to it. Mark says he's cool relatively quickly once the shock kind of like passes, and Salone also mentions that maybe there does need to be a reevaluation of the rules that they've set. Eventually Sanjeev does come around and is like, fine, I'm okay with this. I only originally agreed with the rule because I didn't want anyone dating my sister, which, bad news, buddy. This is followed by more news. It's in regards to like why they were stressing out about the router and the Wi-Fi issues. Actually, if this is confession time, then Mark and I have something to tell you, Salone says. My mouth drops open, but Salone waves away my shock. Not that. Dear God, Mark and I are not dating. Quinn, we knew you were upset about your ex-friends trolling you in the chat, and we wanted to do something to make you feel better. Mark and I started talking and decided it would be great if we could fill the chat with something more positive. So we found the contact info for Stephanie from the Smiling DM podcast and asked her if she'd be willing to watch one of our sessions. She never confirmed, but that's why we were double checking the internet connection when you got here. Mark explains, we didn't want her to log in and then have our live stream go down. I sit back in shock. A quick glance at Logan's surprised expression tells me he didn't know about this either. You actually did that for me? What do you mean, actually? Of course we did. Not that it came to much, but we thought it would be a fun surprise if we could pull it off. Sloane smiles and tugs on their crocheted hat. I'd throw my arms around them, but they're not one for physical contact. That's amazing. Thank you so much for caring enough to try. But I don't care about the chat or anything they have to say anymore. They're just better with nothing else to do. Mark and Salone had the opportunity to do one of the funniest things possible in that situation. They didn't, but they could have, and it would have been funny. Soon they realize that it's 10 minutes past their start time, and as they go to start, Salone realizes that the stream was never turned off from when they were checking their internet connection. This means the entire chat saw the whole confession. This includes the Smiling DM and Quinn's old friend group. The old friend group had started spamming about how Quinn is ruining yet another friend group, and Stephanie, again, the Smiling DM, calls them out and is like, you have nothing else better to do you? Like, if you're trolling people. And then also adds on that she ships Quinn and Logan and congratulates them personally. So that's sweet. Quinn's grandma is also in the chat too, begging them to kiss. And also her username is her full legal name, like first, middle, last name. That's such a 75-year-old thing to do, I fear. So after like the chaos has like concluded, they shut the stream off and they decided we're just gonna skip this stream. We're gonna break another rule and we're gonna skip a stream. And we'll pick up next week. The group gives Quinn and Logan a few minutes of privacy to just like be able to talk to each other about everything in private. And they relish in the ability to now kiss each other guilt-free, in Quinn's words. We end the book with an epilogue set 3 months later where the D&D group is teaching seniors at Grandma Barbara's retirement center and like how to play, how to create characters, and they're using the campaign that Quinn helped Logan write. I think that's very cute. So final thoughts. I think the book, it was very cheesy, very sweet. It was a very fluffy read. It did border very predictable, but I think that it was intended to be predictable. I mean, the back synopsis literally brings up the whole, oh, the players can't date each other rule. It was predictable from the start. But again, I think that was the intention, and I think that the author leaned into it, and because of that, it was still enjoyable, even though you could read the words and be like, oh, so this is gonna happen next. Like, yes. But the author wasn't trying to make something super deep and serious and like thought-provoking where predictability would then become frustrating. I will say though that like even though I did enjoy this book, I did find the first couple of chapters very hard to get through. The first couple of chapters, I kind of sat there and I was like, wow, I'm really not liking Quinn. I'm not liking Logan. This is very hard to get through. But after the attic scene and like they start hanging out together and like Logan is like, hey, this is why I was like so rude to you, by the way. Once they get past that, I flew through this book. Like I read majority of this book in an hour on the way to like a Texas Roadhouse. So, very quick, easy read. It was very refreshing to see an author write a romance novel that didn't just focus on the relationship, but also like the friendships, the friends in the book. I feel like a lot of times in these types of novels, like, oh, it'll be written that like, oh, so-and-so and are best friends with XYZ and they're such good friends, but then you never actually see anything that like proves that they are as good of friends as it's stated that they are. I don't know. I just really like that not only did we get to see, you know, a whole friend group dynamic when it comes to like D&D, but we also got to see them outside of, you know, their campaign sessions, and also just the friendship between Kashvi and Quinn. I really appreciate a girl friendship where one of them's not being catty towards the others. I feel like that's another thing that I see a lot in novels, is that, oh, these girls are best friends, but they're catty towards each other, and not in like a playful way. Like they're genuinely just being mean and hiding it behind jokes. Like, I don't know, let girls have genuine connections with each other. We love a girl's girl, and Kashvi really is. I really enjoyed seeing a focus on Quinn and her's friendship. I just love seeing friendship. I really did enjoy that bit. Something that I'm not like, I don't particularly like is it breezes through a lot of like the D&D related stuff. And what little was provided was very basic information just to kind of like explain it to people who've never played D&D, which has a time and place, I feel like. But Quinn had prior experience playing D&D, and so for like things to get like so watered down beginner level like related talks, I kind of just was like, well, why is she over explaining everything? Why is she over explaining everything if, you know, she has this experience? And it really feels like it's more so for the reader, which is fine, but again, time and place. I feel like with having experienced D&D players, I don't know, it felt frustrating to me to like read all these basic things like, oh, I can see why she thought I was a paladin because I had matching sun and moon stuff like on my shirt and on my nails and my earrings, and paladins can worship sun deities and moon deities. It was one of those things. I kind of just sat there and I was like, yeah, that I guess that is in fact what something paladins can do. But also when it came to like them talking about the sessions, it was very brief. It was very brief. It was like, oh yeah, so like this happened, and then after that happened, this happened. And we don't really get to see them genuinely play it outside of a few snippets, which, you know, probably was done for length's sake, because like this is a short novel. This is like 300 pages. It's like, I don't know, 310 pages, 309 pages, something like that. It's a short read. But yeah, it breezes through the D&D. Another thing that like kind of got me was the fact that Salone, after finishing the campaign, the first campaign, immediately was like, and we'll be back in 2 weeks for our next campaign. Like, campaigns take so long to prepare, handwritten or by a module book. Like, and they're homebrew, so the homebrew like handwritten campaigns take genuinely so much longer. Like, I'm thinking about like my D&D campaign, and like I'm doing something by module because I'm playing with newer players, so I wanted to do something, you know, not involving homebrew, just so they could like, you know, get the basis of it. But just knowing how much time goes into it, and then for Salone to be like, yeah, by the way, our campaign, after this one ends, we immediately have another one in like 2 weeks. And then also Logan having, this book kind of like takes place over the course of like maybe like 2 months plus the 3 months of like the 3 months like time skip for the epilogue, so like 5 months total. And you're telling me that Logan has a campaign that is finished in that time? I don't know, maybe it is possible, maybe that is something. God, this chair is so creaky, I'm so sorry. Maybe that is something that's possible. Maybe that is something in the realm of possibilities. I just can't fathom it. Like, maybe that's the issue. I will say that this book isn't like the most, you've got to read this piece of literature or like mind-blowing. It's very simple. It's very fluffy. But I still enjoyed it. It's a nice read. Like, it's a nice like in-between book if you've like read something that's really bad, or like it's really deep and you need something lighter, or again, you read a really awful novel and you just need something that like as a palate cleanser. This is really good for that. This was really nice to read after reading the horrors of the Monster High novels, the Lissy Harrison ones. I will have something come out on those. That's gonna be a long series. I made a 300-page book into an over 2-hour long video. I don't want to think about how long the Monster High videos are going to be, and it's going to be videos plural, because like I can't fathom recording for this took all day kind of thing. Like, that's going to be an even longer event and occasion. So this was really good to read between the first 2 books, because my god, those Monster High books are horrible. But like, I will say that I did judge the book by the cover, because I don't know, I'm hardly interested in book covers that look like this, kind of because of book talk. I like to stay so far away from book talk. But I was wrong. I judged the book and I was wrong. And I will admit that I was wrong. This really wasn't as bad or horrible as like I thought it was going to be. Are there a couple things that, you know, weren't my favorite? Yeah. But overall, it was a decent read. It was a good, like, 4 out of 5. Again, it's a good palate cleansing book. But it's also kind of like, you're not missing anything if you don't read it. But also, if you have the opportunity, why not? Why not? I might also pick up Dungeons and Drama. I don't know if I'll do a video for that. I wasn't expecting this to be as long of a video. Which, if you are still here after this, thank you. Obviously, this is like the first video of a new channel. I don't 100% know what I'm doing or what I'm doing with this channel outside of talking about books. And I really wasn't intending this to be so long. I am going to try to, like, avoid going this far long for such short of a book. I love long form content. I love watching like long form content and making it too, I guess. So if there's like any like book suggestions that you want me to like touch on, let me know and I'll look into them. I'm pretty okay with reading most anything. Yeah, let me know what you think if you made it this far. And like I said, if you did, thank you. I think that is all. I will see you in the next one, whenever and whatever that may be about. Bye.